Hey guys, here we go into round 9 of Sergey Kovalev versus Andre Ward in preparation for what is being dubbed the rematch. So I've gotten a lot of comments about how I'm kind of making Andre Ward look bad, or I'm being biased, or all these things. Part of the problem with me agreeing with that is that we've talked about what Kovalev is not doing, right? We've talked about it. He doesn't control Ward after he throws punches. He allows him to get under his head. That also has to do with Ward trying to grab him, right? Instead of fight on the inside, Ward starts to initiate holding. But also he stopped using his probes, right? So if I'm going to be picking on Kovalev every 5 seconds, should I just be saying, hey, Kovalev's not probing right now? Is that conducive to what we're trying to get across here? I don't know about that. I understand that you guys think that that's inside fighting, what Ward does a lot of the time when he's holding with one arm and punching with the other and then rotating arms. And I'll highlight a little bit of it in this round. But that's not inside fighting. That's not even boxing. I'm not picking on him for saying that. If I did a film study on Jean-Pascal versus Eleuthère Alvarez, which I would never do because that was such a horrible goddamn fight, the whole time all I'd be saying is, look at this, Jean-Pascal's backing up because he doesn't know how to set up his punches. And everyone would say, I'm biased. I'm just picking on Jean-Pascal. I'm just doing... No, that's the set of the fight. That's why he's doing that. That's why the whole tempo of the fight is Jean-Pascal moving away and not feinting, not probing, not taking angles, not coming in and out, not doing anything to set his punches up, and just trying to explode out of his guard. And that takes away the entire tempo of the fight. That means that Eleuthère, all he can do is kind of try to walk him down because Pascal won't engage with him. Now, the tempo of this fight is being predicated by Andre Ward, and when Kovalev throws punches, Ward tries to slide inside, get under them, and then body up with Kovalev, tie one of his arms up and punch. So that's what we talk about. What else is there to talk about, right? I mean, I can't talk about something that Ward is doing, that he's doing well, if I don't think that he's doing anything well. I'm not picking on Andre Ward. He's a good fighter. He's really smart. I've shown multiple instances in which he's picked up on Kovalev's patterns and has been able to mount some offense in those situations. But I'm not as one of my viewers says, calling a spade a spade. You just gotta point it out. Anyway, I do want to point out that this is a series, so if you haven't watched 1 through 8, I suggest you watch those first. A lot of the fighting and the tactics, I go over that kind of stuff in the earlier rounds. And now we're just kind of the fight is not devolving, but it gets a little more simple. There's less to talk about because it's been said already. But anyway, we're gonna get into this round. And let's see where we go from here. So right away you got Ward coming in, sliding, kind of dipping down to his left and then shifting on Kovalev, trying to create space for his left hand. We talked a little bit about how Andre Ward is a left-handed fighter, and he fights conventional. I'm actually the same way. I fight conventional, but I'm left-handed too. And 90% of the time that I would work the mitts with my coach, I'd be fighting right-handed, and he'd have me do shifting stuff and throw left hands to the body. And it kind of looks like Ward's trying to do the same thing. Forgive me, I can't tell if the punch lands because the screen is so small. But I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments, so just let me know. I mean, you don't have to let me know, but I'm sure with some type of, oh, it's funny how you don't notice that Andre Ward landed a punch right there. Come on, guys. Anyway. Kovalev pressing the action, giving him some feints and stuff. And this is interesting right here. He gets him on the ropes, right? The ring is cut off, but he doesn't throw any punches. And you see Ward kind of shuffle a little bit right there. Right? Knowing that that's like right when he gets on the line, and that's the exact time that Kovalev has his best opportunity to throw a punch, but he elects not to. Maybe he's being worn out, you know, and he's not able to mount his offense. All right, let's see what happens here. Gives him a feint, a high feint. And Kovalev just comes in with the jab. Great body shot from Ward, right? That's inside fighting, right? Now all he needs to do is not body up and not wrap his arms around Kovalev, right? All he needs to do is not do that, keep his arms to himself, and he can throw other punches. He can pivot around Kovalev. He can take an angle. He can create space with his forearm. He can shift. He's left-handed. He can shift on the inside and take a more dominant position. You know, he doesn't even have to just pivot. You know, but immediately going to wrap Kovalev up. You know, I'm not saying that, I'm not picking on him by pointing this out. This is what's happening. Like, I don't know how else you guys want me to interpret it, right? And then while Kovalev's holding him too, he lands a body shot right here, but he's also holding Kovalev on the right side. Should he get away with that shot? I don't know. Is this right here boxing when they're trying to pry each other away from each other and to land punches? I don't know. In that instance, you know, Kovalev looked more the culprit than the victim, but now this, I don't have a problem with this. Gives him a couple feints, feints him again, and then comes over with the hook. And Ward brings his head, you know, straight down below the waist, right? Not a legal move, and Kovalev controls his head, right? Pushes his head out, but he doesn't punch him right there, you know, and I don't have a problem with that. You know, another fighter who does that is Vasily Lomachenko. Whenever his opponents kind of duck below the waist or bring their head down like that, he controls their head and he just holds them there and doesn't let them come up until the ref comes up. You know, he doesn't punch them either, which I appreciate, but he doesn't want to get head-butted. And, you know, when a fighter brings their head down like this and they're so close to you, there's a danger for headbutts, you know? So I don't have a problem with him holding his head there, as long as he's not punching him. You know, taking a cue from Vasily Lomachenko. Some good feinting. High guard feint, and then he goes for a feint up, which Kovalev bites on and catches him with the body shot. You know, not the most solid shot as Kovalev's moving back, but now this is really interesting. You know, Ward has shown time and time again that anytime he gets hit with a shot, you know, especially when it's something as simple as a jab to the body, right? So Kovalev comes in, catch him with a jab to the body, steps out, and Ward instantly goes for the same shot. You know, very competitive, really, you know, not even giving us not even missing a beat, just going straight in for the body shot. Maybe it's that he just sees that the shot's open. Maybe it's also because he's just super competitive. But I wonder why Kovalev is not trying to take advantage of that, because it's creating an opening for him, you know, landing his own body shot. And I think if you watch him on the pads and working the mitts and stuff, that is actually something that he's working on, taking advantage of those counter body shots. Again, feint, probing jab, leaves his hand out there, and then if you see, he kind of flinches a little bit, hoping that an opportunity with the right hand is going to open up. But again, Ward says, "Oh, you know, anytime this guy jabs at me, I'm just going to get away." Whew. All right, some clean boxing right here. Kovalev feints him, throws that little hook. And he does that actually just to throw the jab, close the distance, and very smart from Andre Ward. After the jab, right? So when you feint your opponent, right, and they don't react, you want to catch them with the shot, right? So he slips under where the next shot would be, and then he comes up with his own jab. Kovalev misses, or he makes Kovalev miss, right? But that's one thing that I'm really admiring of Andre Ward is his defensive responsibility, right? Gets back into position, knows another shot's about to come, and gets under it in case it's the right hand, or if it's even just another jab, and then comes up with his own shot that Kovalev tries to counter. Kovalev misses that one and misses that one, but, you know, just great responsibility from Andre Ward, and making sure that when he's out of position, that he's moving his head and he's not staying there for Kovalev to catch him with the shot. And then, speak of the devil, Kovalev does catch him with the shot. Not the cleanest shot, but after he gets hit, after Ward gets hit, right? Not super clean. It might just be the tip of the glove, so it's not a real scoring shot. Moves his head again just to get away from the right hand. You know, very defensively responsible. That's one thing that I have really began to appreciate from Andre Ward. Gets feinted here, and Ward catches the jab, catches him with the counter jab. And remember, when your opponent's reacting to your feints, right, they're ready for the punch that you're going to throw, right? And Kovalev feints him, right, and throws the jab, and just kind of walks into this shot. You know, he should have given him another feint. He should have given him maybe a probe instead to get him to react. But Ward was ready for the feint, and he was reacting well to the feints too. So I'm not sure that Kovalev should have thrown a punch, but an excellent counter after catching the jab and then catching him with his own jab. Really good work from Andre Ward. Let's see what happens here. Ward just catches him with a jab. And I think, you know, check this out. Look at Kovalev right here. You know, remember we were talking about in the last round, he's kind of figured Ward's little game out and feints him with that shot, hoping that hopefully that Ward's going to react, and then off of that little feint, he doesn't do anything, and Ward catches him in his stale guard. You know, not something that I would expect to happen too often, right? Ward just kind of exploding out of a shot and then catching Kovalev, but in this instance, you know, a very rare instance, he actually does catch him with a jab to the face. And again, coming forward with the jab, and Ward saying, nope, not even going to engage you. The same probing jab right there, hoping a counter is going to come, and nothing comes. And then again, this is really funny. Kovalev switching to southpaw, right, if you see it right here, and then Ward saying, nope, calling the left hand right there. Really clever. You know, Ward has a great sense of, not spider sense, you know what I'm talking about, but I'm trying to say something on the same lines. You know, very defensive responsibility. He sees a lot of everything that's coming, right? He can be baited into shots, right? And so far that's been Kovalev's biggest tool for scoring, is using the probes to bait him into counters, catch him with shots. But Andre Ward's very observant, you know, pays very close attention and is able to stop that shot from coming to get him. But after, he gets kind of caught on the top of the head with that, and I couldn't tell if that right uppercut thing lands. But a really interesting new wrinkle, because Kovalev landed one last round, so he's going back to it, and it kind of looks like Ward kind of winds up out of position. Well, he's shifting right now, so of course he's going to be out of position. But it seems like that might be a really effective tool for him to use, not only in the rematch, but in the rest of the fight. But anyway, I'm not sure if that shot lands. I know that one does, and then I think Kovalev also catches him, so he catches him with that jab. No, not that one. This one right here. Nope, maybe he doesn't. Man, I'm all tripping right now. What's going on? Yeah, I guess he misses that one. Lands kind of a body shot, but Ward comes in, bodying up with him. Kovalev tries to grab him, eats a shot to the right side of his back. Very strange. Kovalev eating a good body shot right there. But at this point, whoops, my video is kind of freezing. They shouldn't really be fighting or wrestling at this point. You know, letting them work it out, I don't really agree with the tendencies that have been shown for Kovalev dragging him to the ropes, for Andre Ward grabbing one arm and punching with the other. You know, I think that the breaks should be a little more frequent. And at the very least, you know, telling the fighters, like warning them, you know, even if you're not serious, but warning them, hey, stop with the holding, stop with the grabbing, you know, just to set a tone. But really interesting here. Ward comes in with the probe. As you see, that's not really a jab, right? But he does it. He slides forward, right? Kovalev controls him with his own arm and gets his shoulder onto his shoulder. But so let's just break this down a little bit, okay? Lunges forward with the fake jab, right? It's not a real jab. He doesn't even try to punch him with it. He does it to close the distance. And now that he's inside, right, their hips are separated by a lot, so both of them can punch still. Why did Ward probe to slide inside just to grab Kovalev by the head, right? He didn't even throw a single punch. Why did he work his way in there? You know, from this position, he's done so much work, put himself in so much danger to get inside. Why doesn't he, instead of grabbing Kovalev's head, why doesn't he create space with his shoulder and then catch him with a left hook? Why isn't he turning his arm, you know, bringing his glove from the outside to the inside of his own belly and controlling Kovalev's right arm so that Kovalev can't punch him, and then punching him with his right arm, right, with his own right arm, or creating space with his forearm to throw his own left hook, right? Why doesn't he take angles and pivot? Why isn't he actually trying to fight inside after working his way inside? Why does he immediately go to grabbing your opponent, right? And that's the problem. That's the gripe that I have with Andre Ward, is that everyone thinks he's an inside fighter, but he doesn't know how to fight on the inside. You know, this is not editorializing. I'm not picking on Andre Ward. I'm not saying that Kovalev knows how to fight on the inside either, but at least he doesn't fake it. At least he doesn't just go in and, you know, hold and hit. And that's the problem, right? There are so many opportunities right there for Ward to create openings for offense, but what he does is then, after working his way in, he just tries to grab you, right? And the analogy for this, right, is controlling your opponent, right? So he wants to make it so that you can't punch him first, and then he wants to punch you, right? Smart, slick boxing, I don't know, it's illegal, right? But people calling me biased because I actually know what inside fighting is, and I know that Andre Ward doesn't know how to fight on the inside, is ridiculous. You know, you guys, this is not part of the sport of boxing. You know, Kovalev's not even punching him. Why is he grabbing Kovalev if Kovalev's not even throwing any punches? Like, can you guys answer that? Like, in the comments, like, tell me. You know, he's just trying to grab him by the head right there. How ridiculous is that? But anyway, I knew I shouldn't have done this fight. I should have just skipped it. You know, you guys are just giving me headaches in the comments about this shit. But anyway. Ooh. Kovalev up to some tricky shit right here. Okay, well, first let's play this part. Gets him in the headlock and then punches him in the body, right? That's illegal. This is basically exactly what Andre Ward has been doing, fighting on the inside, to Kovalev the whole fight. This is nearly the same thing. It's just much more a cleaner of a representation of it, right? This is exactly it, though. But before we talk about that, let's talk about this little breakdown right here. So Kovalev, if you look at him, he's dipping onto his left leg, right? Dipping to his left leg, right? Dipping to his left leg. He's got his right hand cocked, right? Feinting, dipping to his left leg, dipping to his left leg, and he finally gets Andre Ward to bite when he dips, because he knows that Andre Ward's been timing him on that part of his guard and works his way in, you know. And then unfortunately, you know, he just goes in for this grab. He baited him perfectly, and he didn't wind up landing any real offense, and kind of lands like an illegal blow, you know. There's no other way to call it. It's an illegal blow. But this has not been, I don't need to harp on it. I don't need to say, hey, God damn it, Kovalev, you dirty fuck. What the fuck is wrong with you, you cheating Russian piece of shit? Because he's only done it one time, right? This is not the main source of Sergey Kovalev's offense. He did it one time, and then he immediately lets go, and he's like, oh shit, yeah, I shouldn't do that. And I get punched in the body on the way out, you know. And props to Andre Ward in that instance. Oh shit, my video froze. Props to Andre Ward on the way out, right, for catching him with the body shot, right? Inside fighting, right? He found an opening while his opponent was leaving the clinch and caught him with a shot. But I don't need to sit here for a half an hour talking shit about Sergey Kovalev, because 99% of his offense is not predicated on holding Andre Ward in a headlock and punching him. Again, dipping to his right, Ward saying, okay, I know you know what's up now. Comes in with that probing jab, right? That really high, blinding jab, and tries to catch him with the right hand, hoping that Andre Ward's going to try to counter him. But it's interesting because he's done this so many times, and he's no longer like probing with it. It's no longer a probe, because he's not using the information that he's got from Andre Ward, right? Because now he can see that Andre Ward's just taking a step back, so he needs to modify his strategy. And at this point, he needs to give him like another jab, or give him a jab and then a roll, so he can get under a possible counter, or start throwing his right hand to the body because Ward's head is not there, right? And he did that earlier in the fight, throwing the body shot instead. But Kovalev not really adjusting to what Ward's giving him. And then right here, this looks like a really clean shot if you watch it real time. But it like just barely grazes him, and Ward catches him with a counter jab. Really great range finding from Ward right there. Really great boxing, right? And this right here, this kind of stuff, that's the epitome of outboxing your opponent, right? It's in the same vein as, you know, even though it wasn't pretty when Errol Spence did it, Errol Spence was outboxing Kell Brook, right? Kell Brook would land a right hand right on Errol Spence's face, and then Errol Spence would throw 3 body shots and, you know, land 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 or, you know, 4 out of 4. And even though he was getting hit first, you know, like mildly in the catch and counter style, because he was taking a shot and then landing more shots, that's the epitome of outboxing. You know, it's very like a rudimentary form of it, but it was working for Errol Spence. And in this instance, you know, Ward's able to get away from the jab and catch him with his own. Oh, really interesting here. Ducks down, and I think Kovalev thought it was going to be a jab, and Ward comes with a very rare right hand, and it's not super clean. You know, it kind of grazes his head with the finger part of the glove. But really interesting. Kovalev realizing he's out of position, taking a step back, controlling him with the jab hand, and then timing him with this right hand. And I think it bounces off his shoulder first before it touches him on the head. So most of the power is blunted in that. But really interesting. And I think, you know, Ward shifting after throwing that shot, right, because he's left-handed, and trying to catch him with the left hook. You know, doesn't catch him either. But a really cool technique from Andre Ward, even though it doesn't work right here. And then I think that gets his shoulder too. Kovalev again, like, time me? You know, probes him, you know, but isn't able to get anything going right there. I think, yeah, he explodes out of his guard. And it's really interesting, right? He gives him no telegraph, no nothing. He doesn't dip down like he usually does. And this is the dividend that you get off of feinting your opponent, right? Late in the fight, you know, you don't always have to set up your punches when you've been feinting so much before so many, right? And your feints start to, you stop needing to feint every time. And he winds up catching him with the shot. Slides in, right? Works so hard to get inside, right? And he doesn't keep his hand to himself. I don't think Andre Ward knows where to keep his hand, right? I don't think he even understands. And he winds up taking a right hand while he's grabbing Kovalev on the right side, you know. And I think, I'm not sure if you can really tell Boom. Let's see if we can watch his glove. Yeah, you can see his right glove reach in and grab Kovalev's left glove and start holding him, and then he eats a shot. Why is Andre Ward working so hard to get in here if all he's going to do is try and hold, right? That's not boxing. Anyway, after that, after he's already bodied up with him, he's grabbing Kovalev's right arm, now his left arm, and he's got his right arm trapped, right? Throwing punches with the left arm. Now he switches arms, throws a shot, grabs him on the other arm, throws a shot, grabs him on the, and then lets go, and then tries to catch him on the way out. I don't have a problem with the punch on the way out. That's fine. But Ward, let's go all the way back here, throws this jab, works his way in, and decides not to fight on the inside, decides to go straight to holding and hitting, right? This is not a part of boxing. I'm not editorializing. I'm not picking on Andre Ward. These are facts. He worked his way in so that he could do this. This is holding and hitting, okay? This is illegal. Anyway, moving on, because this is a fucking long-ass round, and I kind of want to just end it already. Look at this. This is beautiful right here, right? Gives him a hard feint. Kovalev falls for the feint and goes into his high guard and ducks down, putting himself out of position, eating a left hook, and then almost a right hand. You know, most great fighters, you're going to catch them with one shot, you know, off of your feint or your probe or your whatever, and they'll move out of the way for the second shot. Like Andre Ward, even when he gets feinted, right? He moves and he gets out of the way of what would be a feint. He uses defensive responsibility and gets out of the way of the next shot too, to make sure he's not out of position. You know, very similar in nearly in the same vein. And then again, Kovalev dipping down to the right, trying to bait that jab again. Still trying to bait it. Boop. Feints him with a probing right hand. Comes in with the left cross. Ducks what could have been a counter. Probes again with the right hand. And gets Ward to put himself out of position and against the ropes. And then catches him with the left cross. You know, this is setting up your punches, right? You know, and it's interesting that when Kovalev's using his jab to set up his punches, Ward doesn't want to engage him at all, but he doesn't really pick up right now that he's trying to set up his punches with those shoulder feints, right? And then allows him to get in there and catch him with one probing shot. But really good of Ward after getting hit with the shot, circling out and getting back to the middle of the ring where he wants to be. Bolo shot from Ward, throws the jab off it, and he misses. They body up, right? Now, just like I was saying, with his head right there, he could throw right to the body, or he could lift his head up, right? Just like that. Lift his head up and then throw a right hand, but he doesn't. Kovalev winds up throwing a shot that he ducks and just moves back out. But why work yourself to the inside if you're not going to fight on the inside? Anyway, Kovalev jabbing to the body and Ward catching him with a great counter jab right there. Good defense from Andre Ward here, getting put out of position. And remember, this is the situation where once you're out of position here, you know, there's a free shot, you know, but Kovalev kind of rushes it, I think, feinting. Ward makes the right move, rolls under the shot, and bodies up with him. But what Kovalev wants to do right there is give him more probes. You know, don't just, you know, maybe probe with the right hand first, because Ward has nowhere to go. He has to respect all the feints and all the probes, because anytime he doesn't, if he gets caught with a shot, that's just lights out. So you make him respect it, and you make him make the first move, and that's how you're going to get your free shot when your opponent's out of position, you know. And after they body up, real quick, both of Andre Ward's arms are around Kovalev, right? Both of them. So he's holding him, dragging him, hits him with a couple low blows, and then a scraping left hook. But he's holding Kovalev with the right hand. Now he's holding Kovalev with the left hand, punching him. And I don't know if that lands as a real punch or not. But nearly on the break. Looks like it's kind of, you know, kind of clean. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. Again, Ward trying to bait him, or Kovalev trying to bait him in with the shoulder feints. Boom, but it doesn't work. Slipping inside, and their heads probably come together right there because Ward comes in with his head on the shift and doesn't land a shot. And I think that's one of the first times he lands a body shot. It's not even super clear, but you know, not a lot right here going on. I think both of them at this point are trying to steal the round, but reading that a jab's coming and trying to counter the jab again. It might be a right hand to the body, I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't really tell, but it, you know, not super clean. The only thing that's like really obvious that is right here is that Ward doesn't really have any coordination in his right hand and slaps that right hand to the body. If you notice, look at his Ward's right hand right now. Slaps it and hits him on the thigh. You know, the only thing that you can really make out, in my opinion. But anyway, that's round 9. I'm not exactly sure who won. I think I edged this one to Ward, even though it's not the cleanest round. And you see a lot of the tactics that Ward's using. You see a lot of the tactics that Ward's using the way that he works his way inside. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes he comes in with his head. But the tactic that he uses nearly every time after working his way in is to grab and control his opponent and then start punching. And, you know, it's illegal.